As you can see, the temperature gauge in this car is not working, so we are going to change the temperature sensor. The temperature sensor on this car is located on this water housing here on the front of the engine, and if we undo the clip to it, then you'll find if you undo the other clip there, you can take one of these parts out. That's the replacement, a cheap one that we bought, just over £5, because the original ones are very expensive. Trouble is, if we take it out now, all the coolant's going to drop out. So what we'll do, we'll take the coolant out this pipe first. It's not hot anymore, otherwise you might scald yourself. So we'll take the clip off and drop it out near the water pump before we can change that temperature sensor. Move the clip over and pull the hose off. We might lose some. Position the bucket about right. Try and catch as much as we can. If we'd have pulled the temperature sensor out, it would have all ran down the engine and there was no way of catching it. This way, as the coolant was fresh, you can see it's coming out nice and clean. We'll be able to drop it back in afterwards. Take the clip out. That came out very easy. And now I should be able to pop this out. Bit of a wiggle. Now we might still get some liquid drop out here. There you go. Cool. We did, but not as much as if we'd have just opened it there in the first place. Now you can't tell by looking at them if they've gone or not, but we'll replace it anyway and we'll know if the temperature gauge works afterwards. And like that one, we'll put a bit of sealant on to help stick the new one in, because we don't want to leak afterwards. Now when you compare your original temperature sender, you may find, like this one, it's number 251919501A, but the replacement we have got, this has got a different letter at the end. This is 251919501D, and although they may look very similar indeed, if you look closely, the sizes vary slightly, and if you put that one back in, you'll find you can't get the clip onto it afterwards. So what you need to do, and they don't tell you when you buy them, is you need to use an O-ring on this newest one. Now whether you need to or not, I'm not sure, but I'll be putting some gasket seal on it as well, only because I hate plumbing. Smear some around there. Whether it's needed or not, who knows. Put that on. I'll put a bit more on the top of it. Now what we'll do, we'll line up this part here, make sure it's the right way around for the slot on the connector, before we insert that upwards into the coolant flange housing, and we'll push that up into place. That feels good, and then we'll put this clip back on and the connector on. But before we put the coolant back in, we must make sure that hose on the water pump, we reconnect that, otherwise as we're pouring it in, we'll just be pouring straight back out. That's it, that clip on there. And then, is that one on? Yep, and that one's on there. So now just put that hose back and the coolant back in. And as you can see, the temperature gauge is now working. Bye!